It was supposed to be a final, tearful goodbye. A little girl, barely able to hold back her sobs, wrapped her arms around her aging German shepherd as he lay weakly on the cold examination table. Years of loyalty, protection, and unconditional love had led to this moment, one that no pet owner ever wants to face. The vet, moved by the visible bond between the two, quietly prepared the necessary procedure, his heart heavy with sorrow. As the girl hugged her beloved dog, whispering words of love and gratitude, something incredible happened. The German shepherd, who had been almost motionless moments before, suddenly lifted his head. His tired eyes brightened, and he thumped his tail weakly against the table. The vet, stunned, paused. It was clear that something inside the dog had changed, a spark had returned. After quickly reassessing his condition, the vet realized the dog's vital signs were improving. What was thought to be his final moments turned into a stunning recovery. The power of love, it seemed, had given him a second chance. That day, the little girl didn't have to say goodbye after all. Instead, she got to carry her best friend back home. The veterinary clinic was filled with a heavy silence as a little girl approached the examination table where her beloved German shepherd lay. Years of companionship, laughter, and shared adventures had brought them to this heartbreaking moment. The dog, old and frail, had been battling health issues, and the family had made the agonizing decision to say goodbye. Tears streamed down the girl's face as she leaned in and wrapped her arms around her best friend for what was meant to be the last time. She whispered promises of love and memories they had shared, her small voice trembling. The vet stood by quietly, syringe in hand, preparing for the final procedure. But just as he was about to move forward, the dog stirred. Slowly, almost stubbornly, the German shepherd lifted his head and nuzzled the girl's arm. His breathing grew stronger, and a faint wag of his tail followed. The vet blinked in disbelief and quickly reassessed the situation. To his astonishment, the dog's vital signs were improving right before his eyes. Instead of a sorrowful farewell, the day turned into a celebration of resilience and hope. That hug, filled with pure love, had sparked an incredible will to live. The room was thick with sadness as the vet prepared for one of the hardest parts of his job, saying goodbye to a beloved pet. The German shepherd on the table had been a loyal companion for over a decade, but illness had taken its toll. His family, heartbroken, had made the painful decision to let him go peacefully. The little girl, his closest friend, stepped forward, her hands trembling. She leaned over her dog, wrapping him in a hug so full of love it seemed to freeze time itself. The vet gave the family a few private moments, watching quietly from the corner, his heart heavy. As he moved closer with the syringe, something unbelievable happened. The German shepherd stirred. First, a small flicker of an ear, then a slow wag of his tail. His labored breathing grew stronger, and his dull eyes began to regain their spark. Startled, the vet immediately checked his vitals. Against all expectations, the dog was stabilizing. He set the syringe down, realizing the procedure would not happen that day. Love had done the unimaginable, reigniting the spirit of a dog everyone thought was ready to say goodbye. The atmosphere in the vet's office was heavy with sorrow. A family stood gathered around their faithful German shepherd, preparing for a heartbreaking goodbye. The dog, once full of life and energy, now lay still and weak, worn down by illness and age. It was a painful decision, but they didn't want him to suffer any longer. Tears flowed freely as the little girl, his closest companion, stepped forward. She knelt beside her beloved friend, pressing her face into his fur and whispering a tearful goodbye. Her hug lingered, filled with love, gratitude, and all the memories they had shared over the years. As the vet quietly prepared for the final injection, a sudden movement caught his eye. The dog, who had barely moved all day, stirred beneath the girl's embrace. His breathing grew steadier, his eyes fluttered open, and his tail gave a slow, deliberate wag. Startled, the vet paused and quickly rechecked the dog's vital signs. To his amazement, they were improving. Somehow, the pure, unconditional love of that last hug had reignited a spark within him. What was meant to be a final farewell turned into a miraculous new beginning, a moment no one would ever forget. The room was filled with the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. A family gathered around their German shepherd, preparing for a heartbreaking goodbye. Years of loyalty, adventures, and unconditional love had led to this painful decision. The dog, now frail and struggling, was ready to be set free from his suffering, or so they thought. The little girl, his constant companion since she was a toddler, approached slowly. Tears streamed down her face as she wrapped her arms tightly around his neck, whispering through sobs how much she loved him. The vet, feeling the weight of the moment, prepared to administer the final injection. But then, something extraordinary happened. Beneath her embrace, the dog stirred. His shallow breathing deepened. His tail gave a soft, slow wag. His eyes, moments ago dull and tired, flickered back to life. The vet, stunned, immediately checked his vitals, and what he found was nothing short of miraculous. The dog's condition was stabilizing, his heart beating stronger than it had all morning. In that raw, emotional moment, love itself became a lifeline. The girl's final embrace didn't just comfort her dog, it saved him, stunning everyone who witnessed the impossible. The vet's office was heavy with grief as a family gathered to say goodbye to their beloved German Shepherd. Years of loyalty, joy, and companionship had brought them to this heartbreaking moment. The dog, once so full of life, now lay frail and motionless, worn down by illness and age. The decision to let him go had been made with love, but that didn't make it any easier. Through her tears, the family's young daughter approached her best friend for one last hug. She wrapped her arms gently around his fading body, whispering words of love, gratitude, and childhood memories into his ear. The vet watched with quiet sadness, preparing to carry out the final act of mercy. Then, something unimaginable happened. As the girl clung to him, the German Shepherd stirred. His tail, limp just moments before, gave a slow, weak wag. His chest rose and fell more steadily, and his tired eyes blinked open. The room fell silent as everyone watched in disbelief. The vet quickly checked his vitals, and to everyone's astonishment, they were improving. What was meant to be a final farewell became a moment of miraculous hope, all sparked by the simple, powerful love of a little girl's hug.